Have you ever traveled through time? We do it every day.
Asgardia is a country with a population of more than 1 million people from more than 200 countries on Earth. Asgardia gives everyone equal opportunities, no matter what their earthly status is.
It is possible to create and live in the future right now. Are you ready? Forward progress is the solution to the entire human race. Our mission is to bridge new horizons. In Asgardia, there is no limit to the universal development in the fields of technology, finance, and arts. Asgardia is a new space and digital economy which creates opportunities for the global economy. We deliver innovations. Do you want to get on board with us? We are developing various kinds of digital businesses, attracting them to the Asgardia platform that can be backed by the means of our umbrella, i.e. franchising of the Asgardia brand. We can not only attract investments into space programs from prominent institutional investors, but also affordable amounts from the citizens of Asgardia. We comprise of more than 1 million people.
Asgardia is a chance to realize one's dream. This is a dream-driven space nation. Asgardia is a chance to belong to a community of free-thinking enthusiasts, goal-driven dreamers, and fearless innovators, theorists, and scientists.
We are the first space nation. One humanity, one unity.
Asgardia.
We are creating
the future.
So much paper here. Unbelievable. Yep.
Yeah, we are here.
Yeah. Page after page after page. All of this.
Lot of papers.
All of these things.
Yeah. My tree crying.
There's so much stuff. Yeah. Well, there we are.
Yes.
Ah. When I get told we're live, we start. I'll start at 4 minutes past as usual. Yeah. Oh, we are live. Right, 2 minutes, we'll start. I'm Len Topic, Chair of Parliament of Asgardia, and we will start day 3 in 2 minutes. Okay, let's make a start. Ugo's interesting. There are 4 of him. Very impressive. So, welcome to the 3rd day of the 14th sitting in the 2nd Parliament of Asgardia. We do have a lot of meetings, and that's fantastic. I'm Len Topic, the Chair of Parliament, and it's been my honour to serve you as the speaker, though Ariadne did try to take my job once. I've never forgotten that. It's good, it's good. Before we go any further, as always, let's hear from our interpreters. We have simultaneous translation, which saves 75% of our time, 75%. So let's start by asking our interpreters to share with us how you can hear in your preferred language And we'll start with our Russian interpreter, who might be Elena today.
This is correct, Mr. Opik. Good to
Good.
hear you again.
And yourself, I look forward to meeting you again sooner rather than later. Who knows what the future holds?
Exactly. Добрый день, уважаемые господа парламентарии. Вас приветствуют ваши русские переводчики Кирилл и Елена. Это третий день 14-го заседания в Асгардии парламента второго созыва, и перевод осуществляется, как обычно, в синхронном режиме на русский, испанский и турецкий языки. Вы уже находитесь в нужном канале, переключать его нет необходимости. Единственная просьба говорить немного помедленнее, чтобы мы, переводчики, успевали осуществить качественный перевод. Благодарим вас за внимание. Плодотворного вам заседания. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to our Turkish interpreters. Good evening to you.
Greetings. Değerli
Evet,
Asgardia parlamenterleri, Asgardia 2. Parlamentosu'nun 14. oturumuna hoş geldiniz. Oturumlarımızın 3. günündeyiz. Yine tercümanlarınız Eren ve Alper size Türkçe ve İngilizce eş zamanlı olarak tercüme yapacak. Türkçe tercümeyi Zoom pencerenizin alt kısmındaki küre ikonuna tıklayarak seçebilirsiniz. Söz aldığınızda tercih ettiğiniz dilde konuşmanız yeterli olacaktır. Tercümanlarınız tüm söylediklerinizi diğer dile anında çevirecektir. Hepinize verimli oturumlar dileriz. Thanks very much.
Thank you. And finally, we have our excellent Spanish interpreters. Greetings to you.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello, Liz. Good morning to you.
Morning. Estimados parlamentarios y asgardianos alrededor del mundo, bienvenidos al tercer día de esta sesión número 14 del segundo Parlamento de Asgardia. Las traducciones se estarán haciendo en los idiomas turco, ruso y español de forma simultánea. Tienen la opción de escuchar en su idioma de preferencia, pero el canal principal es en inglés. Recuerden que cuando quieran hablar no tienen que hacer pausas para hacer la traducción, pero sí deben hablar pausado para hacer la mejor interpretación posible. Si tienen algún problema técnico, por favor, déjenlo saber en los mensajes. Gracias.
Thank you, all of you, and many thanks for the excellent contributions you have made as interpreters. It's always great to have such high standards of interpretation. Once again, please do not speak too quickly. John Fine speaks at just about the right speed, the ideal speed for interpretation. Yesterday I spoke too fast, but I was excited, so I was told to slow down. And basically, this saves us 75%. And I would say that really, without them, we would not get anything. We get much less done. We get much less done. So that is great that they are here. This day is usually scheduled for 5 hours. Theoretically, with simultaneous translation, that's now 1 hour 25. In reality, I expect it will be about 2 hours 15, 2 hours 30 minutes, something like that. So, as always, let me start with announcements. Thank you all those who have contacted me. John makes a really interesting point about Overton Window. I won't go into this now, but really good point, actually, really interesting point that you've made. I see what you mean now, John. I won't go into it again, but the way you explained it, it's not confusing. It's very, very logical, to be honest with you. So, yeah, I think you were using the right phrase. I've seen other messages coming in. People are using the app now, and I'll come to that in a minute. Some people have had to send their apologies because they have activities to do, and that's understood. And thank you for telling me. So 3 other things. The debate yesterday was very good, and I hope that you received the clarification notes. I won't open the debate again, but those notes are just there for clarification. You decide how you wish to vote. But I promise to do that, and you have had it about the Antarctica Act. Second point is that the voting is still open, and please do vote. We have 4 items, the quorum of the agenda, basically. We have the legislation on Manufacturing and Manufacturing and Industrial Corporation Framework Act, second reading. Benedetto presented that very well yesterday. And you are being asked to approve Mr. Nigel Evans, former Deputy Speaker of the House of Commons in Britain, to serve as Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs until 13 Capricornus or 15 December this year. So the voting is open. And finally, to say that we haven't got a guest speaker today, but I have some very interesting announcements about a guest speaker who will join us sometime later on in the year. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Let me review what we have done so far. On day 1, we had the official opening, announcements, the opening of the voting, and some procedural matters, and we got everything done fairly quickly. And I asked people to vote for the agenda at least, because it's very important we get a quorum. If we do not get a quorum, then our votes don't count, and the whole thing has been a waste of time. If you haven't voted yet, now is a good time to do it. You have 1 hour, 49 minutes left, and then the voting ends, and you cannot vote after that time. So we had the debate on day 2, opening of the sitting, Government Hour, with our new Prime Minister, Mr. Salvas Muzakitis, often known as Dr. Muzakitis for some reason. And we had a great, superb presentation from Cheryl Gallagher. Really inspirational. She puts together great presentations too. She's the Minister for Culture. Then we had a dialogue with Nigel Evans, who was presented by the Prime Minister to be acting Foreign Minister until the end of the year. And I was very, very positive about that. Those things took about 2 hours. Most of the rest of the day was about the Asgardia Antarctica Act, and you can vote yes, no, or abstain on that now. Then we had the Asgardia Manufacturing and Industrial Corporation Framework Act, second reading, and Benedetto Professor did a great job of presenting that. Then we closed, but that was a long session. It lasted about 6 hours, I believe. Really long session, but that's good. If we did not have simultaneous translation, that would have lasted 24 hours. That just shows how much more efficient we are now. Coming to the present, then, in a moment, I'll tell you about a subject which I think you will find interesting. It has been mentioned already. And that's, I am not the guest speaker, but that's a subject I want to raise with you. Then we have the report back from the very hard-working Legislative Merit Review Group, LMRG, from John Fine. Followed by that is followed by reports on the implementation of work plans of parliamentary committees. And all 12, I hope, will be in attendance. And we'll go through that in the usual order. Then I give you the chance to suggest any priority acts that you think that we need to look at. Anything that you feel we urgently need to put into the system for consideration. Then after 1700 UTC, I'll sum up the results of the voting on the agenda. Closing remarks, national anthem, and we close. I expect we'll be maybe 2.5 hours today. I think just after 1700. The voting itself is provisional. We haven't got the formal result until the Mandate Commission has checked all the figures, and then they send them to me, and that is how we essentially make sure that all of it is correct. I meant to say one more thing. The broadcast now is being advertised on the Second Parliament official site on the app. If you have not registered for the app, please do register for the app. It's very easy. And the Head of Nation is on our feed for the Second Parliament. The app is great. I use it a lot during our sessions. because it has a section about Parliament, and I find that really useful. So have a look at it, and you may enjoy it, and you can then predict the order of the Parliamentary Committee reports because it's the same as the order in the app. But I'm telling you, the head of nation does look at it. He reads our messages, and he really wants us to be registered. So let me move on. I want to tell you something very important that may be happening this year. UAPs, unidentified anomalous phenomena, I think they're called. I think that's what UAP stands for. It used to be called UFOs. And ever since the 1940s, we have been talking a lot about, or people have been talking a lot we've been talking a lot about whether we've been visited, unidentified anomalous phenomena, that's right, just check. Whether we are alone, whether there's anyone out there. I've had a number of meetings, some of which are confidential. And it seems that the American government might be making an announcement to claim that we have actually had contact already. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's possible that such an announcement is going to be made. We are uniquely placed as Asgardia to play a part in any such dialogue. And I think that I would trust Asgardia more than I trust terrestrial countries, Earth-based countries to do that. But whatever our status in any negotiations, be prepared. It might be, once again, a hoax. It could be fake news. But a lot of people have now seen a lot of documents from America and elsewhere. And individuals I've spoken to have personal testimony of what they've seen. That's why I'm hoping we can get a speaker on the subject this year. It really, really matters that we are ready, willing and able to be as responsible as we can be with any such interaction. One other thing, if they were hostile, we would already be dead. So if we have been contacted and we're not dead, it suggests that they don't come here with hate. Two other things about this. If you start looking at government reports on it, they do seem to suggest strongly that some unknown technologies have been found. And the obvious question is, has that been created by another country as a secret system of, for example, military defense? Or has it been created by an alien civilization? Fascinating question we cannot answer today. But one day we will have to answer it, I think. The other question that leads is this: what changes will that make to our view of the world and the cosmos? Cheryl Gallagher talked about that a lot, and I know that she has been in close communications with many of these people herself. It was Cheryl Gallagher who introduced me to some of the leading voices on this subject. Whether you believe that we have been visited or not, we have to be ready. And we have to be aware that this could have society-changing consequences, because what importance is the dollar on another planet? What significance do our wars have to those who have traveled thousands of light years to say we come in peace? And what changes could be made to our medicine, our technology, perhaps even our biology, our genetics, and our freedom to enter a potential international space environment? Perhaps as associate members, maybe we're not mature enough yet. So to summarize, I have been working to try and get a guest speaker. And we will get one, and they'll be credible. And when that happens, I think everyone here will be fascinated. We might perhaps even consider doing a special Asgardia legislative forum to discuss it again, as we have done before. Right, that's all I have for that. Let's go to Uga.
Teşekkür ederim Sayın Başkan.
Thanks very much,
Hepinize iyi günler
distinguished
diliyorum.
speaker. I would like
Eğer
to
gece
extend my
yarısıysa
regards to
iyi
all of
geceler
you.
diliyorum.
Have a good day, have a good night if it's night out there.
Dünya dışı yaşamın
Now,
bizlerle
I would like to
temas
make
noktasında.
a suggestion regarding the first contact with this
Asgari hükümetinde
extraterrestrials.
hizmet ettiğim dönemlerde üye miydim? Tam hatırlamıyorum.
I don't remember if I was a member of it, but while I was
üye olduğum dönemlerde bir
a member
yasa
of
teklifi
Asgardia,
hazırlamıştım. Arşivimden bulacağım. Teklifin Evet, Asgardia parlamentosundaydım ama komite başkanı değildim galiba. Kültür komitesi başkanı değildim o
sorry,
dönem.
I was a member of parliament.
O
I was a
dönem
member of parliament, but not the head of the committee.
yasa teklifi
And as far as I can remember, I prepared a draft law.
Benim teklifim şudur Sayın Başkan.
And I'm also going to share it with you. Regarding the extraterrestrial life, let's create a commission within the Asgardia parliament. And if we have such a commission, as a science fiction author, I would like to take an active role in such a commission. Thanks very much. This was my proposal.
Thank you. I'd be very happy for you to be involved in anything that we initiate. Because Cheryl Gallagher has been so heavily involved in this, I would say that she would be the best point of contact. Having said that, I haven't done much on it yet. I really want to see if we can get some of the best minds on the subject in the world, but are also very persuasive, to talk to us and see how we can be involved in the dialogue and the dealings. John.
Well, I wanted to tell Urga that the Foreign Affairs Committee has created a special group within our committee, and it of course was developed for the Prime Directive, but the Prime Directive specifically explores this topic, and in fact, we've already sent out our thoughts on that to key people from around the world, and some of them did respond. It's one of the topics among others. That we say that needs to be explored, needs to be talked about. Now's the time that we need to actually start talking. We don't need to talk. We need to be proactive, not reactive. So, and that was the whole purpose of our working group. So we do have one in the Foreign Affairs Committee, and we'd be happy to extend it. Well, I can't speak on behalf of FERDA, so I will have to confer with FERDA and see if she would be willing to extend that out to the rest of the committees to be part of that working group. But and we've done quite a bit of work in there, so and it's been good work. But that would be her decision, not mine. So anyway, I just wanted to share that.
Maybe that work, the time for that work has come. There are rumors that there'll be an announcement from the White House in September, but I don't know. I only pass it on because I've been told. I don't know for sure, but it would be quite something. We're the first generation of humanity to discover that we've never been alone. It's quite possible. I've written quite a lot of articles on this myself, but I won't go into it further now. Anybody want to say anything else on this? I forgot one announcement, by the way, I'll come back to. Okay. Well, I've just been reminded I have to talk about one other announcement. I draw your attention to the Decree 94 on the conduct of elections of mayors of Asgardia. When I was in the Corfu Summit, I'll come back to you in a minute, Ugo. When I was at the Corfu Summit, the head of nations signed 2 decrees, and this is a very important one. It basically wants us to get mayors all over the world, Asgardian mayors, and it's got rules and so forth for how that can happen. And no doubt, Ivan Russell, the Minister for Citizenship will be involved. So that's something we need to do. We don't need to talk about it much now. But if you want to be a mayor yourself, you can stand. If you know somebody who would be a good mayor, all they have to do is be an Asgardian resident. So they have to pay the €100 a year. Then they can stand. It would be fantastic if we could reveal many, many mayors all over the world for Asgardia. Decree 94, have a look at that. Issued just recently and discussed at the Corfu Summit. Uga.
Teşekkürler tekrar Sayın Başkan.
Thanks very much
Yakın
for giving me the
zamanda
floor.
gösterimden çıkan vizyonda epey
Recently,
tutulmuş olan
there was this
İfşa
movie,
Günü isimli
Disclosure Day.
filmin son sahnesine dikkat çekmek istiyorum.
I would like to attract your attention to the
İzlememiş
final
olanlar
scene of
mutlaka
that movie.
izlesinler.
Please
Filmin
watch
son
it if you
sahnesinde bir
haven't yet. On the
uzaylı
final
varlık
scene
haber
of this
spikeriyle orada stüdyoda temasa
movie,
geçiyor ve
an
kendisini
alien
bir
gets into
tekerlekli
touch
sandalyeyle
with the
getiriyorlar uzaylı.
news broadcaster,
E.T.'nin
and they are
çocukluğumuzdaki
introduced through
seyrettiğimiz
a
E.T.'nin
wheelchair.
daha yaşlanmış
It
halini
is a kind
düşünebiliriz
of
bu
more
uzaylı
older version
figürü.
of the E.T. that
Ben
we used to
bunun
watch when we were
nedense
a
Bay
child.
Güneş gerçek olduğunu düşünüyorum. Bu
I
filmin
believe it
tesadüfen
was somewhat
yapılmış
real,
olmadığını
Mr.
düşünüyorum.
Lembertopic. I don't think it was a
Adı
matter of
üstünde gerçekten
coincidence
ifşa
that
günü olduğunu
this movie
düşünüyorum
was
ve
produced. I
toplumun
believe
ona
the
yavaş yavaş
Disclosure Day
hazırlandığını
is
son
slowly approaching,
sahnedeki
and they are
görüntülerle
trying to prepare the
aslında arka
society for
planda
that.
var
And
olduğunu ama gerçeği
the
değil de
scene, the
onun
final
bir
scene,
replikasını
actually
bize
existed,
gösterdiklerini
but they are
düşünüyorum.
showing a
Tekrar
kind of
teşekkür ederim Sayın Başkan.
replicated version of this. This is what I think. Thanks very much.
Yes, you could be right. I have been advised to watch Disclosure Day for that reason. And that's interesting that you say this. I wonder if maybe we are being prepared for very big news. And if we are, then we should discuss it and be ready. That's what I think. And if we do discuss it, and if we are ready, we'll be ahead of many people. There'll be panic. There'll be fear. But at the same time, it could be game-changing for all humankind if we do this. And if we do it responsibly. If we start shooting at them, probably that would be a bad thing to do for internet, for our place in the Intergalactic Federation or whatever it's called. But what I do know very much is that we need to ask these questions, because I've always believed that the universe would be too big, too empty, and too much without purpose if all there is in terms of intelligent life is us. John.
Yes, well, there's also the other side of the argument, and not that I believe in this, which I don't, but there are other views out there besides, some say it's disclosure and some say it's actually going to be the government's trying to use this as a control mechanism, and they're actually the ones that are going to, they already have the ships created, they're going to make us think that it's aliens. So, because everybody wants that so badly. And that, I'm paraphrasing the ideal, but that's basically what the ideal, uh, what those people think. As far as myself, I think that I look at space and I go outside and I look at the stars, and it's endless. Billions and billions and billions of stars and galaxies, and it's just amazing that if there were not any other life out there, and I've said this so many times before, hey, it's an awful lot of wasted space.
Yeah.
And I think that yes, the possibility is there. I kind of share your Chairman, your ideology on, that's the word I was thinking about, ideology, on the fact that in order for a civilization to achieve the kind of technological advancement to actually move the distance it would take to get here, chances are they wouldn't be interested in something like Earth. And I kind of share that. But do I think that they send out maybe observers? That's possible because maybe space is just like a big science station. You know, we have science stations in Antarctica. It's possible that advanced civilizations have science stations in other parts of the galaxy, and including ours, to study. You know, like you see in Star Trek, kind of. But, and I believe that is possible. So, and there's actually some history in our own history that's been dug up from deep beneath the earth that uh, that does collaborate that aliens once was here, and that's the Samaritan text, which ironically got they did something with that text when most of the time when you go to archaeological site, everything is protected, but that one site was the one site in the world where they didn't do that. They actually let everybody cart off the stuff that was in there, and then when it was finally uh, uh, when somebody actually paid it, because it was discovered back in the 1800s, and it was and then when someone finally got around to saying anything about it, it was summarily dismissed as, oh, that's just folklore, that's just craziness. But they were good, they were legitimate texts in rock, and a lot of people give credit to those texts, and I have read them, and they're very um, revealing. But the anyway, so I think it is credible to say that the aliens exist, and if it is a coming day of a disclosure, then I'm looking forward to it. But you said that we shouldn't shoot at them. Unfortunately, we already have. If you see some of those videos that they've released, the United States shot at them. So, but so I think we already wore out our welcome. But but anyway, that's some observations.
Thank you, John. This is why it's good to talk about it. It's so interesting. It's such an interesting subject. It really, truly is. And finally, Ugo, and then we're going to move on to the next item.
Teşekkürler.
Thanks
Sayın
very much. Distinguished Chairperson,
Arthur C. Clarke'ın
Arthur C.
bilim kurgu
Clarke,
yazarı,
my colleague,
ilginç
he was also a science fiction author.
yorumuyla bu konuyu, UFO konusunu farklı
I
bir
wanted
yere
to
taşımak istiyorum.
quote
Tartışmak
one
istiyorum
of
daha doğrusu.
his very interesting
Şöyle der
comments.
Arthur C. Clarke.
Arthur C. Clarke
Ya
states that
evrende yalnızız ya da
either we are
değiliz.
alone
Her
in the
iki
universe
ihtimal de
or not,
aynı derecede korkunç.
but both
der Sayın
possibilities are
Arthur C.
scary.
Clarke. Bunu tartışmamız lazım. Yalnız
Arthur C.
olmak mı
Clarke,
daha korkunç
is it
evrende,
more scary?
yoksa
Is it
bunu
scarier to
bizimle
be
paylaşan
alone in the
yabancı
universe,
varlıkların olması mı
or
daha korkunç
is it
diyerek
scarier to
bu
share the
konuyu
universe
biraz daha
with some
farklı bir noktada
extraterrestrial life,
tartışmayı diliyorum sizlerle.
so that we can start a discussion at a whole another level? Thanks very much.
Thank you. I worked with Arthur C. Clarke myself. On one occasion, I asked him a question about the computer HAL in 2001, and we used to communicate by fax. I'd send him a fax in the evening, and when I came into the office in the morning, he would have sent me one back. And I asked him some questions about asteroid impacts, and then I said, on another matter, did you call HAL, the computer in 2001, did you call it HAL because it was one step up from IBM? So that I became H, B became A, and M became L. He wrote back saying, I made it quite clear that it's nothing to do with IBM. I called it that because it was short for heuristically algorithmic computer. I don't think you can translate that, interpreters. Good day. And that was the end of the message. And I thought, wow, I've just been told off by Arthur C. Clarke. I've never forgotten that. It's quite cool. Great, thank you. So that's a brief, actually not very brief, summary of the exciting work that we could do about UAPs. I still prefer UFO, but UAPs, it's maybe has to be. So back to John now. We move on to report back from the Legislative Merit Review Group. And John, I'm sure, will have a great presentation on the hard work his committee does. Over to you, John.
Thank you, Lambert, and I hope everybody, I'm standing here in the Asgardia headquarters in my Trade and Commerce office, and so, but, all right, let me share my screen. Let's see here. Make sure I get the right one. That's Trade and Commerce. There we go.
Yeah, we see it.
You see it? Okay, let me move this thing out of the way. I can't see my controls because this is the Legislative Merit Review Group Progress Report for this Parliament session. Hold on, I gotta minimize my window here. Boom, go away. There you go. And here's the report at a glance. The body, of course, is the Legislative Merit Review Group. I am the chairman. The reporting period is since the previous LMRG session until 8 August 2026. Principal review that we did during that time was, of course, the AAA and document status working draft for report and possession to use. The June 6th reconciliation version is under head of nation review. However, that was when this report was done. That review has been completed. We do have a copy of the review from a ad hoc committee. So if you haven't read that review, please go do so. It does have a lot of important information in it. I also wrote 2 additional reports that were requested by Parliament members and sent those out as well. And they are in conjunction with the same topic, which is the AAA. If approved as a working version, which it wasn't, it returns to Parliament for a new first reading, which it didn't. So, like I said, if it's not approved, the AAA should be removed from the agenda rather than substituting or advancing a different text until the reconciliation version can be established. I still believe that's true as the chair because there's too many unresolved issues, which I put in my report, and you can read that for yourself. I'm not going to go over it again. The LMRG review was opened with full notice, calming materials, and defined deadline. The session opened 1 week after the previous Parliament session. Every LMRG member was contacted and invited to participate with access to the same body of material. Members received the materials needed to conduct the legislative review and a common review timeline. The session closed on 7 August 2026, 1 week before the next parliamentary session. That structure matters. A merit review should be open to the full group, grounded in common record, and completed in time to inform Parliament rather than follow behind it. The LMRG served as the review and institutional memory function. This is our role for this period. We examined the relationship between the sponsored text and the submitted versions. We organized legal, procedural, and strategic concerns for review. We supported a documented reconciliation pathway rather than a simple rejection. We preserved findings for future legislative reference. The LMRG did not assume the sponsor's legislative authority. It provided structure, review, traceability, and findings the committees and decision makers could use. That work, sorry, I'm probably going too fast here.
It's okay. You don't tend to talk too quickly. They'll tell us if you do.
Okay. That work converted a disputed version history into a documented process with defined next steps and a parliament-ready document. For the version and merit review, the review identified a material change problem, not merely editorial differences. The AAA one May version passed first reading, but it was not the version submitted by Trade and Commerce and Foreign Affairs. The review considered changes in text, structure, intent, added content, removed content, and article drift. Differences were significant enough to require the sponsor's attention. The result supported renewed sponsor review and reconciliation. The purpose was to establish what needed correction, not to erase the recorded vote, or prejudge the policy choice. The Manufacturing Act had no issues and proceeded through normal development toward second reading. It also was looked at during the LMRG. For the authorities and review inputs, the LMRG assembled multiple lines of review instead of relying on a single opinion. We used sponsoring committee intent and legislative history. We used relevant Asgardian constitutional and legislative requirements. We used foreign affairs and international law considerations. We used the head of nation, prime minister, chair of parliament, ministers, and the Ministry of Justice observations. We used discussion and recommendations from committee meetings, the Asgardia Legislative Forum, and other platforms monitored by the LMRG, which one of them is WhatsApp, plus Slack, and now the new Asgardian app, and Facebook, and email. So those are 5 areas that we monitor daily. The value of the process is traceability. Oh, and when I say monitor, I think it's important to make a distinction here. We don't just look, we actually read what people are saying, and if it has anything to do with what we're doing in the LMRG, we record it, make a note of it, and it gets put into the record. So we do read people's debates, and we do record it, and it gets put into record in the LMRG. Anyway, let's see. The value of the process is traceability, showing why each revision was proposed and what risk it addressed. The June 6 AALF findings. The Asgardia Legislative Forum produced a procedural and substantive reconciliation record. The committees presented the version history and their procedural position. The reconciliation proposal was presented and discussed. Participants addressed territorial claims, functional jurisdiction, credibility, legal alignment, registries, and dispute resolution. The act was returned to committee development. No ALF vote was held. The session moved the matter from a dispute over competing texts to a reviewable reconciliation process. The LMRG preserved participants' principal views and the meeting outcome, excluding unrelated transcript noise. And we did work directly off the transcript from that meeting. We went to where we can get the transcripts and actually copied the transcript, and that's what we used and made a record of it. The AAA Reconciliation Assessment. The resulting draft was designed as a workable institutional compromise. And I will stress it was a compromise. It wasn't a perfect, it still had issues of its own, but it was not a perfect draft, but it was a substantial compromise. It preserves the strategic objectives associated with the AAA. It restored the sponsor participation and version clarity. It improved legal and procedural alignment. It used functional and operational mechanisms where they are more defensible. It incorporated selected recommendations without destabilizing the compromise. It's not beyond criticism, but a supportable basis for renewed consideration, giving Parliament a defined text to evaluate on its actual provisions. The AAA current review status. The LMRG review remains tied to the decision on the June 6 text. The reconciliation version is under Head Nation review. We now know that review is over, and we have the results. No final approval should be inferred from submission for review. The confirmed text must be identified before it appears for Parliament action. A material different text would require renewed sponsor and merit review. The AAA is not ready merely because it appears on a draft agenda. Readiness depends on confirmation of the working text. This distinction protects both the integrity of the review and the clarity of the parliamentary record. Decision path and recommendations. The next procedural step should be simple and